Starting off, we will introduce this month's game with the scripted segment giving you all the details, and then we will go into our unscripted thoughts about the game shortly afterwards. I'm Sondi, and with me always is Bendezzer. So without further ado, enjoy.
It's 2009. Players are living in a post-Mass Effect world. Activision still holds the X-Men gaming license, and with the new X-Men film on the horizon, the publisher is wide open to collaboration. Enter Silicon Knights, a Canadian studio led by Dennis Dyack, who's hunting for a way to fund their unannounced sequel to Eternal Darkness. Dyack pitches a concept that Activision can't ignore. A choice-driven X-Men game where players create their own mutant and fight alongside the likes of Wolverine and Cyclops or Juggernaut and Magneto. Dyack reportedly wanted to, quote-unquote, explore the philosophical tensions between Xavier's peaceful coexistence and Magneto's militant supremacy. Now, for anybody unfamiliar, at the time, the gaming market was saturated with beloved Western RPGs like Fallout 3, Knights of the Old Republic, and Oblivion, and this pitch seemed tailor-made to ride that momentum. With a major Marvel IP behind it, it looked like a sure thing. So Activision gave Silicon Knights a significant investment as part of a strategy to diversify their superhero portfolio. They granted the studio considerable autonomy and let the Canadian developers get to work. Silicon Knights, though under some stress from dealing with the looming Epic Games lawsuit about the misuse of Unreal Engine, got started and laid out their vision. A full mutant creator, multiple boss variants, expanded relationships, alternate power evolutions, and branching storylines. But then, something unpredictable happened. Disney bought Marvel, and suddenly Activision's confidence in the mutant IP cratered. They didn't want to keep investing in a property they might lose the rights to within a few years, so they slashed the budget. The ambitious scope of what would eventually become X-Men Destiny was gutted. Silicon Knights reportedly put up to $2 million of their own dollars to keep the vision alive, but Activision's financial commitment was reduced to roughly a third of what was originally promised. And to make matters worse, Activision also accelerated the timeline, demanding that the game ship in 2011. So the stage was set. What started as a promising blueprint for a deep, customizable mutant RPG began to fall apart. Gone was the full character creator. In its place were three fixed protagonists: Amy Yoshida, Grant Alexander, and Adrian Luca, each with preset backstories and personalities. The once planned power branching system was reduced to just three base archetypes: shadow matter, energy projection, and density control. Instead of mixing and evolving powers to match your moral path, you now selected a single combat style with limited upgrades and very little to differentiate it in overall feel. The X-Gene system remained as a way to collect powers from legacy mutants like Cyclops, Iceman, Emma Frost, or Juggernaut, but these were stripped of the strategic depth that they were meant to have. Rather than fundamentally altering your playstyle or unlocking unique mission paths, most X-Genes served as light stat modifiers or cosmetic changes. The original plan for environmental combat, faction-based interactions, and personalized boss fights, those were also gone. Choice was still a marketing hook though, but in practice it boiled down to flavor text and a binary decision at the very end: side with the X-Men or the Brotherhood. Missions, dialogue, and even endings barely changed. The branching moral dilemmas Dyack pitched were nowhere to be found. Level design is strictly linear. You move through a sequence of corridors, get locked into an area, fight waves of enemies, and then repeat. There's little exploration, no real puzzles, and any choices you make during dialogue scenes don't meaningfully impact the missions you take or the outcomes you get. You're occasionally nudged to the side with either the X-Men or Brotherhood, but this mostly changes which voice line you hear and not what you do. Boss fights pop up here and there, usually featuring a recognizable mutant, but they tend to follow a predictable pattern. Telegraph, dodge, counter, repeat. There's no co-op, no branching paths, and no meaningful incentive to replay with a different character or power. Despite the game's shrinking scope, X-Men Destiny still marketed with the ambition of a AAA RPG. The promotional line, Choose Your Destiny, promised players full agency, the chance to shape their mutant powers and align with iconic characters in a fractured Marvel world. Previews at E3 2011 focused on combat powers and the morality system, even though both had already been scaled back. Activision promoted the X-Gene system heavily and introduced pre-order bonuses through various retailers. Amazon got an Emma Frost X-Gene, Best Buy had Juggernaut, and GameStop offered Havoc. The content tied to these deals was never made available post-launch, making some gear permanently inaccessible, especially after the game was pulled from stores. Activision gave very little review access pre-release, offering copies to press only a day before launch, a red flag in the industry that typically signals a lack of confidence. X-Men Destiny released on September 27, 2011, to mostly negative reviews. Critics universally cited the same issues: bland level design, repetitive combat, lifeless characters, and the complete lack of meaningful choices. The game hovered in the 40s to low 50s on Metacritic across PS3, Xbox 360, and Wii, and the DS version fared even worse. Joystick called it an unfinished mess, and Games Radar criticized it for wasting its concept. Even fans of the X-Men franchise were left scratching their heads. How did a game that promised so much deliver so little? A few outlets praised the voice acting and the occasional boss fight, but these positives were buried beneath glaring technical issues and cut content. But perhaps the most defining aspect of X-Men Destiny's legacy is what happened after it launched. See, in 2012, Silicon Knights lost their long-running legal battle with Epic Games. A US court ruled that they had misused the Unreal Engine 3 code and ordered them to cease distribution of any game built with the stolen tech, including X-Men Destiny and their previously released title, Too Human.
Boater.
All unsold copies were legally mandated to be destroyed, and the game was pulled from digital storefronts in 2014. That makes X-Men Destiny one of the only modern Marvel games to be not just a flop, but effectively erased from existence. Silicon Knights would file for bankruptcy shortly after, never releasing their planned sequel to Eternal Darkness, and never recovering from the fallout. In the years since, X-Men Destiny has become a cautionary tale in gaming. A game that had every reason to succeed because of its timing, its IP strength, its player demand, but it was crippled by a perfect storm of legal troubles, corporate doubt, and creative compromise. Its few defenders argue that the bones of a great idea are still buried underneath the rubble, but for most, it stands as a reminder of how easily a vision can collapse under the weight of the forces outside of our control. Once hyped as the next big X-Men title, it now sits among the industry's most infamous flops, recalled, forgotten, and discarded. But sometimes, in a dusty used game store, a copy still surfaces from the back of the rack. Yeah, by the way, I am very sorry about this experience.
Listen, we all get one stinker.
Yeah, I was playing through it and I was just thinking to myself, like, I really just wanted to play this just because it was an X-Men game, and I kind of wanted, like, I had this like loose idea in my mind, like, oh, I want to play all the X-Men games, but like not like back to back, like just like when I can play them, you know.
Right.
And this was one of them. Like, well, let me scratch it off the list. But I'm like, yeah, this is embarrassing.
If
Like,
there's
this
one
is so-
X-Men game to play, I feel like the other Boater X-Men game, the X2 Wolverine's Revenge. I feel like
but
those.
X2 is at least like respectful of like the lore and Wolverine's abilities and mechanics. Like it all feels far more thoughtful, you know.
True. True.
It's just a clunky ass fucking game, but like
Yeah.
it's way more thoughtful than this. What this feels like, you could rip off the X-Men like label and then rebrand it as like some AI game like Superpowered Destiny, you know, and then just like give everybody like weird costumes and you wouldn't even be able to tell. You'd be like, oh, this is like an X-Men maybe wannabe or something. But this feels so when I was playing it, I was like, I feel like this is what people that don't like X-Men think X-Men is. In some sense, like it just feels like everybody's like
people that only tangentially watch like the cartoons and the movies was like, oh yeah, I know Magneto and Cyclops,
yeah,
cool.
It feels very like one note, and everybody's like a caricature of themselves, and it feels very checkboxy. Like, we gotta have Magneto, we gotta have Wolverine, we gotta have, you know, I'm really surprised they didn't have Jean Grey and some Phoenix thing. Like, I'm so surprised they didn't like get, like, I don't know, it may be because, you know, Cyclops, I think they took from the Astonishing X-Men era, because Cyclops is wearing that like navy blue with like a little bit of yellow, and
the full cover.
Emma Frost. Yeah, and then Emma Frost is in there as well, so I'm guessing that's why Jean Grey's not really like a part of it, because she's not that big of a part in that run of comics. But Yeah, I don't know. It's
It's
all
a
right.
rough one, man.
Let's just get into it. For anybody that's just joining us and just listen to the scripted section, I'm not sure why you're interested in this game. I'm gonna just say now to stay away. This is gonna be more of like a post-mortem of like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm being too harsh on the game, but at the same time, I have a deep love for X-Men, but also this game functionally feels like what we talk about a lot, which is like a basic ass beat 'em up from Blockbuster that you would pick up over the weekend and be like, cool. Like if you were a kid, I could see you having some nostalgic attachment to this. But objectively speaking, this is just like a bad license game, like a run of the mill, like $5 Activision value game or whatever, you know?
Yeah, it's very and I beat this game twice. I beat it on Wii, which is a way inferior version of this game.
Why?
I'm a
Answer
masochist.
that question to me.
I'm a masochist. Okay, listen. I wanted to experience the game. I wanted to experience the other characters, but I didn't want to play through the game again. And mind you, the game is only like 3 hours long, 4 hours.
4 hours,
if you like Chuck, if you know what you're doing with like the combat. So it wasn't that. It wasn't like it was a long waste of time. Like, you know, like it's not like I was like, hey, I'm beating Eternal Sonata for a second time or something crazy like that. It wasn't that crazy. But I don't know, man. It's just, I see what you mean, where it's like, this is a very, like, if I was a kid, I would really fuck with this game as game. Whereas it doesn't really, and I liken this a lot to like the Bureau XCOM at the time. Because for some reason, Mass Effect came out and everybody was like, we need to be Mass Effect. Whether that was Alpha Protocol, the Bureau XCOM, this game. There's a lot of games that tried to do that vehicle, like the wheel of like conversation and stuff like that. And it doesn't really do it. Like, you can tell this game was stripped down from what it was supposed to be. There's a lot of cutting room floor feeling to it. And it doesn't... Absolutely. I don't even think adding in extra development time, or even if it was to see its full vision through, I think it would still be a flawed video game. But from like a collector standpoint, I think at least having like a 360 or PS3 version of the game, it is fun, like you said, for a weekend blockbuster. Like, let me just knock out this quick little 4-hour game.
Yeah. And see, I'm using the term fun loosely here. I would say that it's just like one of those mindless, like, okay, I love this IP enough to kind of like, let me see. There is some replay value because you get to choose the 3 characters and all that. And, you know, we'll go into that when we get to gameplay. But that in and of itself sort of lends to like, okay, I picked a shitty power and a shitty character. Maybe if I go back and then there's a lot of variables, you know, that maybe don't change maybe they don't change the overall experience, but the game feels like, okay, maybe there's a little bit more in that I might have a slightly different experience if I do the jock with the, you know, the density power as opposed to the Asian ninja chick with the shadow matter power.
Oh, you chose the Asian chick with the shadow powers? How generic.
I know. What?
To be honest, I chose the racist nigga with the shadow powers.
The racist? How did you even know he was racist?
Bro, he has a literal like swastika tattoo, and he's part of the main niggas that hate mutants that you fight the whole game. And he has like his dad is in his head saying like, "You're no son of mine. I should kill you." And it's like, damn, Nick, like your dad subconsciously in your head just saying like the most vile racist. And like his options when you're like playing with him, like the very first thing he goes is like, "I'm not a mutant. Fuck those mutant freaks. Kill them all." And it's like, whoa, bro.
Oh, okay.
You're a mutant there, buddy.
Yeah. I went with the Asian chick, and I think one of the reasons I went with her was because I feel like at that time, especially, like there's not a lot of games where you get to play as like a super heroine as opposed to a superhero, you know? So I was like, oh, you know, let's see what they do, what costumes they have. I mean, it was really like a flippant decision. I just knew that the two generic white dudes, I was like,
Do
I'm
you
not
want
sure.
short-haired
A
white
buff-
dude A or short-haired
Yeah.
white dude B?
Yeah, they could have like made him another race or like
Yeah.
something. Like it just felt weird to have two what could be ostensibly like, 2000s video game main character protagonist. I
Yeah.
don't know. So I was like, yeah, let me go with like although I hated her design too. She had like the fucking
That dumbass scarf.
giant. I'm like, what? Because the other two niggas look so basic and like, but she
Yeah.
has like these striped socks and like a fucking, I'm like,
And it's
did
like,
someone else
yeah,
design?
I smuggled you to America because we found out you were a mutant. So don't dress like a fucking mutant. And she obviously looks like a mutant. Or it's like the most obvious, like, yeah. Like at
She
least
sticks
like
out,
the
yeah.
jock and the other dude, they can kind of blend in a little bit where it's like maybe they're not a
Yeah.
mutant.
Right. Well, I mean, I think the thing too that makes sense is like they're wearing, pedestrian outfits,
Right.
and then they get their super suit pretty early on because the game is so short, and then you start wearing that first suit, and then you're. So I guess it kind of makes sense. But yeah, her outfit is like you look like you would be in like
That's your
either the
costume
New
right there.
Mutants or like you would be like a runaway from the Runaways. Like you just look. Yeah, but let's get into presentation since we're talking a little bit about like the visual design. So presentation is the section where we talk about art direction, UI and graphics, music and sound, voice acting, all that good stuff. So Sondi, do you want to go first? Do you want me to jump in?
Let's just get the worst part of the game out the way first.
Okay.
The music, OST, completely
Oh,
forgettable.
you didn't download it and just bop to it for a whole month straight?
Not at all. It was the most generic, painstaking, like when people talk about like video game music, this is like the kind of music that like a normal nigga would think about. Like the orchestral, just blase, just blend into the background as music. And even then, the sound effects are ass. Like there's like a swoosh noise that they always do with like every attack is so annoying. I don't know if it's just the shadow powers, but I had to after like the halfway mark, I just turned off the volume for the game. I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like the woof, woof, woof of like all the attacks, it's so annoying. Voice acting is pretty ass. It's very phoned in, which is surprising because this is a very Hollywood star-studded cast. You got Troy Bakers, you got Nolan Norths, you got what's the dude from the three main characters are played by Hollywood actors. I forgot who they all are, but
yeah.
No,
Yeah,
that's
I
what
think,
it is. The Asian chick is Chun-Li, not Chun-Li, Chi-Chi from the Dragon Ball movie.
Which
Evolution.
didn't we just bring her up in one of the more recent episodes? Because she voiced someone else.
I think so.
I don't know if it was Wet or R Racing, or Binary Domain. I don't know what it was, but yeah, it's funny that we've already played a couple games with her as the voice actor or something. But yeah, I absolutely agree with you. The music itself is like a very low quality MIDI sound, very generic instrumentations, very generic quality brass and strings. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, wow, this is like someone made this either just like with complete apathy to the superhero genre and video games at the same time. Like they were just like, I'm just gonna, and like they got away with just getting hired and being like, yeah, we're gonna use the soundtrack. I don't know. I'm like, where did they get this music? It sounds so stock.
Right.
It's yeah, I mean, it's awful. It's also poorly integrated into the mix of everything. I mean, the mixing here, the sound direction is just terrible because you have all the generic hits, the whooshes, the
rocks,
the
crumbling
power sounds. Yeah, everything just sounds like it's layered terribly. It sounds like something I would try to mix because I'm not a sound engineer, so I'm just like I don't hear things that differently. But it came through terribly, through my speakers. So yeah, I definitely turned down the music because I was like, this is just so annoying and blaring,
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of True Crime Streets of New York. Of how
the music?
Well, just the mixing in general of like
Oh, okay,
how
okay.
everything is, where like certain sound effects or like vocal clips. Like I remember messing around with True Crime Streets of New York's debug menu a lot, which terrified me as a kid, and like that
Yeah.
ethereal like noise of like a sound effect being too loud or like a pedestrian in the background that's obviously down the block, but you hear
Yeah.
them like they're right behind your ear. Like that's how it feels. Where like some Juggernaut's over there, but then you can hear him crystal clear as he's beating up this other guy. It's a
Yeah.
clusterfuck, I like to call it.
Yeah. Which, you know what? I was thinking, because again, I like to be fair to these kinds of games. I was thinking that that was also an issue with a lot of games around that time, anyways. But I think
True.
this issue is just exacerbated by the fact that it's also just not a great game. So
Yeah.
I think, you're playing it and you're like, oh, this feels kind of clunky and gross. And then you're hearing these like repetitive sounds. And real quick, I did want to touch on the sound effects, of the powers. The shadow matter sounded like they were just
Horrible,
so.
bro. What's the one
It feels
move where
like
you like do the 360, like the XXXY combo, and it's like that's
yeah.
full.
I'm just.
That sounded so.
It really
disgusting.
feels like a bunch of like generic stock sounds that were either placeholders or I don't know. And it really makes you. It does really make you appreciate good sound design, specifically with superhero games, where it's like you don't even think twice to hear like what psychic powers would sound like, because that's like when you're designing that stuff, you don't like you have to think about that. What would it sound like for Jean Grey to lift this up? What would it sound like for Nightcrawler's teleportation, or Mystique's transformations, or with any other superhero? Like those are things
Right.
you have to think about, and we see it so much in media and things, and we don't really have like a second guess about it, because it's usually so good. We're like, yeah, that's what it would probably sound like.
Yeah, because Spider-Man's whips of
Right.
his like webs, you don't think about it, but like think about every Spider-Man game. You're hearing that, or whatever. That's trying to make the noise. You're hearing that thwip for
Right.
millions of times throughout every
Exactly,
game that you
yeah.
play, but you don't think about it. It's just natural. Or even like Wolverine's claws with when it retracts and detracts, you don't think about the shink of it. That's just
Right.
Wolverine claws. It don't really phases you.
Venom too, right? You think about like the sliminess of when he's moving, when you
Yeah.
have to control him. You don't. The sound isn't so generic that you're just like, yo, this just sounds like they got a tub of Play-Doh, and we're just like, like they put thought into how these things sound, and so, maybe we're pulling too many references from like modern media, because this was about 15 years ago. This
But
game.
no,
So-
because I mean, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, Ultimate Spider-Man.
that's
There was
true. Yeah.
there was Spider-Man games like biannually, but at this point,
That is true.
yeah,
Very, very true.
Even
yeah.
like when you mentioned Venom, now I just thought about like the effect on Venom's voice that makes it like double, like the doubling of his
right.
voice. Like
Yeah.
that's just synonymous with Venom, but it's not done it in a poor like. I don't think I've ever heard a poor rendition of Venom's voice. Even in the shitty Venom movies, it still sounds like, oh, that's what a weird symbiotic creature would sound like.
Yeah. And so like this game just doesn't have any of that thoughtfulness. So like we don't know what shadow matter would sound like, but it doesn't seem like it would sound like what's in this game.
No.
You're just like, what did the density sound like? Was that
It sounded like
what
rocks.
is the
It's just
Okay,
fucking
so
rocks.
you're just-
It's not density. It's fucking rocks. That's all it is. You just move around a bunch of rocks and punch people and do shockwaves.
I do want to spotlight a specific moment of poor sound design choice, or weak sound design choice, and it's when Magneto, I think it's towards the end, and Magneto's like, there's like a sort of like whirlwind of all this metal that he's controlling, and it's creating like this vortex. And like the sound they chose was like pots, like pots clanging together, but it's like these huge things of debris with like metal wires and skyscraper scaffoldings and stuff.
Yeah.
And they use the sound of metal pots, and it really takes the piss out of the whole fucking moment that's supposed to be big and grandiose. I was just like, oh my god, this is so terrible.
And it makes me think, because at this time, I do know that this game went through development hell. We know that. That's been documented. Unfortunately, this game is not available for brand new. Like a brand new copy is like rare because they got rid of all the brand new copies because of a
Yeah.
lawsuit with this game. But I
Yeah.
did also learn that this game was going to be. I think at the time it was just like the IP is just so big we can't do that. But they were going to put it on the Activision Value brand, which is
Yeah.
like the Hot Wheels and the Cabela's, all of those generic children's games that you don't think about when it comes to like Activision publishing it. So this game was
Right.
a budget title at the time. So I mean, maybe they just didn't have maybe they were too focused on hiring A-list actors to voice act this game that they didn't have the money for a good composer.
Well, I mean, on top of that too, they hired all these actors, but then the voice direction is also like a really sharp miss. Like Nolan North as Cyclops, in my mind, I'm like, if I that's a good choice. You know, like when I think of like people that could play like that sort of leadership role, I'm like, okay, that could work for Cyclops. He kind of has like that Boy Scoutish voice, young enough, but I think stern enough that he could,
Yeah.
like, you know, and he plays it here, and I'm just like, it's like there was no voice director in the room with him to like be like, no, you need to like, this is a moment where you kind of need to be more stern or a bit more, triumphant, whatever. And I just don't think they don't get any of it with any of these characters. It's insane. Magneto.
No, he's just as bad. I don't.
Magne-
I played the
No,
Brotherhood side, and he didn't even really like show up until the end. And it was just so
okay.
weird to me.
He's still okay.
Yeah.
Not Magneto. What's the guy that Miguel Reyes? The leader of the Purifiers or whatever. He's like the
Oh yeah, the main dude that was the main villain. That's how
Yeah.
forgettable he was. I forgot. I forgot he was the final boss.
Yeah, so I think he's like not terrible, but yeah, it's just really flat. And voice direction, of course, with something like this is important. So they did hire these great voice actors or voice actors that would go on to become great, and yet they still miss the mark. So it's just like, wow, wasted your money there, even, Because I don't know, like Nolan North at that time, even Troy Baker weren't like.
They were like, yeah, they weren't
like
really like that hot, right? I think Troy
Yeah,
Baker
they
was
weren't-
just coming into the game, right? And then Nolan
Yeah,
North, he's
Troy-
been in the game for years, so I think at that time he was
Yeah,
straight.
they were still like not rookies, but they weren't. I'm sure they weren't as expensive as they probably are now to get, right?
Right.
Yeah, but so yeah, the casting choices there was smart, but unfortunately they missed all the potential that it could have had. Who voiced Emma Frost? Was that? I feel like Laura Bailey had to be somewhere in here
I think so.
because I would not doubt it.
I think so. Let me see. Behind the voice actors. Yuri Lowenthal. I remember that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I heard
he
his
was in
voice.
there.
He was like a grunt, wasn't he, or something?
Yeah, he was a Nightcrawler. Phil Lamar.
Oh, that's right.
He was Gambit.
not-
Steve Blum
He
was
was a-
Wolverine.
Of course.
Who is Emma Frost? Oh, Carrie Walden. What else did she play in? She plays in everything. She's like
Of course.
Zatanna. Okay. Yeah, so she's like she's in every cartoon character. She's Little Mermaid. Yeah, okay. The Little Mermaid.
Okay.
I didn't know that actually. That's kind of crazy.
But yeah, so I mean, cast just absolutely wasted, and it really just goes to show you that the production of some of these things really can get out of hand. There's so many variables that you might not be able to control, and some that you can control, but just like once one domino starts to fall, everything can easily just collapse, and you're just like, fuck, What did you think of the just overall art direction? Obviously, there is a visual language here that's established, a visual design. I think it's god awful, but If it also feels very 2010s in some sense, like I
Yeah,
feel
where
like they
everybody
were
was trying to be realistic.
Yeah, but they also couldn't like they didn't have the graphical fidelity to be realistic, but they also wanted it to be like both realistic and a little cartoony. Because someone that sticks out to me immediately was Nightcrawler. His design, I'm just like, what the fuck is this? What are you
Yeah.
wearing? Who
Like
are
that
you?
that is the design of like I'm trying to be like a realistic behind the shoulder ass X-Men game. It's like, okay, I'm gonna make Nightcrawler that. But
Yeah,
that's not a good design. I think a lot of the designs aren't really like Pixie's design doesn't look good. Most of the costumes don't look good. Most of the character designs don't look good. I think the Wii version actually looks better because it's like cell shaded and it has like a comic book
oh,
pop art feel to it. And I felt like that would have made the game at least stick out a little bit more if it was cell shaded like that. But
yeah,
the generic 2010s, foggy backgrounds, blurry textures, it's
right. Yeah, yeah.
it's the one age of video games that does not age well. It's like you can tell when a game is really good, it's really good. It's like timeless almost. And then the games that were middling in that time, you can tell instantly like, oh yeah, that was a shitty game. It's like an instant filter of like, oh, this game is shit. Like immediately.
Yes.
I think the animations were the big sticking point for me. A lot of the animations just felt weird. Like, did you use any of the sprint abilities?
Yeah, I used Quicksilver's sprint ability for a little bit, and then I ended up settling on the flying ability because I think it actually morphs into flying.
Yeah.
North Star.
North Stars.
He starts. Yeah, like if you upgrade it, it morphs into flying.
Yeah, I think all of the animations, at least for the sprints and like all of the like teleports and everything just felt rigid. It didn't feel like everything flew together naturally. Specifically,
Yeah.
like the parry. There's a parry window that's like really, really loose. So you can just hold L2 and you can just parry everything in the world, kind of like Sonic Frontiers. And it made it made like combat because you would just be doing whatever the fuck abilities where you're flipping and flopping and flooping, and then you just hold a block attack and you're instantly parrying and knocking these people
Yeah.
over. And looking at it doesn't feel like it was like they thought like, okay, this is natural, this is like everything, like it looks like a designer was designing this animation and didn't take into accordance how that coincided with their colleagues. Like every person was just like, I'm working on grunt number 3, so this is what grunt number 3's animation pool is, and not flowing it in a general cohesive art design.
Yeah, no, that's good analysis. I feel like there's good like key animations, which are basically like the main stances or the main like the big poses, but they don't flow well into each other. They do feel broken up. Funny enough, I think that one of the animations that really sticks out to me is the flying animation, where basically your character is on a somewhat of a like swivel or a pendulum.
Oh, I know what you mean when you're like when you turn left and right and it does the lean.
Yeah, it like auto like is just doing this like no matter what you're doing, So your character's floating, and it's like I don't know what you would call it exactly, but it's just like rocking like a boat, no matter what way you go. And I'm just like, I get what they were trying to do, but this feels like a beta. Like we haven't finished that yet. That's just an idea of what
Right.
of like what we're trying to capture.
Because that would make sense if I was turning left to do the pivot and do the swirl
to like
and turn
banking.
around.
I think it's banking,
yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
But it was ugly. Yeah, speaking of animations though, I do have a couple. Or actually, let me go back real quick to the outfits, because they're not all terrible. Obviously, Gambit, I think he looks great because he's using his traditional Gambit garb.
Wolverine,
Gambit's
of
one of
course.
those characters that you can't. Yeah, Wolverine. Like there's some characters like Gambit that you can't. His design is so beloved that you cannot like try and redo it. And most comic book artists will not touch Gambit.
Yeah.
Because it's so iconic. Like it's always the fucking.
Just
I mean,
need
they'll
to
do
give him
like
a trench
slight
coat.
variations. Yeah, but he's always gonna have like the black, the eyes, purple. He's always gonna have like the chest piece, and they do like slight variations, but he always has the coat. It's very very iconic. They keep Wolverine's design, so obviously he looks great. Emma Frost. A lot of them are pulled from, I believe it's Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon's Astonishing X-Men, which was out at that time. So it makes sense why, Colossus has like the red and yellow with like the arms cut out. So they all look great. I noticed too that some of the texture work was actually, I don't know, I couldn't tell if it was my screen or not, but I'm like, I think they actually did some good texture work on some of the costumes, because you could tell like it was supposed to be different textures. Like one would be like, it'd be like shiny, and then there'd be cutouts that would have maybe like a, I don't know, like a cotton or felt kind of like design to it. So you can kind of see that there was like a bit of juxtaposition. So it wasn't just like a one like texture smeared onto their body. And
Right.
I noticed that like that some of the characters had that, so they looked pretty good.
I think
But
about Surge when you mentioned that. I just brought back Surge because her
okay,
design, her top, her like crop top. I do know what you're talking about with like the cottonelle feel.
yeah, it sort of has like a different element, which I was kind of surprised they were able to capture, considering this game's quality. But I also did like the suits. I mean, I'm a sucker. I think most comic book fans are. I think Insomniac knows this because they include a bajillion different suits for Spider-Man. I'm we love being able to put different suits on characters, and they give you a good amount in this game. On the lower end, I would say you get like what 10 or 7, 10
Yeah.
around there, and it's kind of fun to see like the variations, especially because I played as the Asian chick. I fucking forget her name, but which is not a surprise. They give her like a Wolverine outfit. They give her a Gambit outfit, North Star, um, you know, uh,
And Cairo,
Colossus,
Emma.
Pyro. Yeah. So I think that's kind of cool. I liked the way they kind of like, okay, these are like the staples, the signature tells of each character's, like visual design, and we're gonna put it onto like a, like a small little Asian chick and see how that works. So I liked that kind of exercise that they kind of had. Like they had toads. I think Gambits actually looked really cool. It'd be cool if they like allowed you to have like the actual like the trench
Yeah,
coat.
if it changed
But
more, because I know, especially with the dude, it was really just like changing the general base. Like it was a base, and then it was just changing
oh,
the color design of that base. And I think I
that's
went with
ugly.
Psylocke for most of it. But like every
Okay.
person, it was just like Wolverine is just okay. Now it went from purple to yellow, or Juggernaut, it's
Oh,
brown. Magneto, it's purple with the little accents. Like didn't
that's ugly.
didn't really elevate. I wish that the costumes, if they did do it, like if I chose Psylocke, let me get a little unitard with him, or like
Yeah, like the bodysuit kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it was probably too risque. I have no clue what they would have, what they could and couldn't have done. But and then you get an original X-Men suit, which is original to the character, but I think it's also based off some X-Men comics that I haven't read. But they're wearing like black and red. I don't know if you got that costume. I think it's after you join, like you officially max out the X-Men side.
Yeah, because you get a Brotherhood costume as well too. With forgot the fucking Brotherhood suit. I forgot what it looked like, but
Mm.
it's like black. That's what it was. It was like all black around it. But I mean, the dudes just all look ugly. I mean, it's just a sleeveless, generic ass like.
Yeah, that was one thing I definitely like remember seeing. I was like, oh, the dudes' costumes all look generic. Like there's no flair. They're all like, I don't know. You could have done more, but they didn't.
Yeah,
And
most of the time I played with just the base like costume for most of like the playthrough. It was either
oh,
it was either
really?
Psylocke or like the base, the one that you start with before you get like the
Yeah,
actual like superhero costume. Because most of the time it was like, like this shit looks ass.
yeah. I do want to add here that Forge looks like a crackhead. He looks like Steve Buscemi. Like he just looks so off. I was like, what is wrong with you, Forge? Like you're so like his depiction, like he looked, obviously he had like the costume of Forge, but his face was so fucking frightening.
He
Like,
do
what is
kind of
this
look
man?
like what's his name? Joe from the Pest. Joe Mangiano from the Super Mario movie. That dude from
I don't
Romeo and Juliet. I know
I
he's
don't know what you're talking about.
Joe
but
Maggie. Is it
from
Maggiano,
this,
bro? Joe Maggio. I just typed in the most generic ass like
from you said the Super Mario movie?
yeah, the Luigi from the Super Mario movie. Luigi. What's the guy's name? John Louis. I can't even say that last
Oh,
name.
you're talking about Linguenzano or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That guy.
Yeah.
I only know him from the Pest and Romeo
He's
and Juliet.
I know him from he's Sloth in Ice Age. He voices him, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was just in that one Netflix thingy about with the Central Park Five. He was like one of the dads in that. He was in Spawn too. That's what it was. He was also in Spawn.
Oh, okay.
And that drag queen movie with Wesley Snipes.
I don't know what movie.
I don't know why I know so much of this nigga's back like fucking design.
Yeah, you know a lot of this guy's for not
because he
knowing
has
how
such
to
a
say
like he has such a striking face. Like when you see him, you're like, yeah, that guy. But like,
right.
you don't
Right.
fucking like.
Yeah.
He's got like a Danny Trejo ass face, where it's like you know him, but you might not know
Right.
him by name. But like,
Yeah, you can't mistake him for another actor.
right?
Yeah, he's definitely like he stands out. Yeah, but that's how Stu Buscemi is also too. I'm like,
Yeah.
you can't confuse Steve Buscemi for any other actor.
Oh my fault. I thought that was Christopher Walken.
Yeah, yeah, and then, yeah. Christopher Walken also has a very distinct face. But, anyways, I can't lie though. I did get excited when I got that Wolverine suit. I was like, yes. So that was the only time I got excited. That was the only time I got excited in the whole game. But
I can tell you when I got excited. I got excited seeing that fucking set piece with Magneto. That's probably the coolest part of the whole game when he throws like the Golden Gate Bridge or whatever.
oh yeah,
That was
Yeah.
pretty cool. But I mean, that's the only cool part. of the game.
yeah, and it sounded like pots and pans.
Right, yeah. And that was the first level of the game. And it's like after that, it's like, okay, anyway, back to generic normal levels.
As far as like the UI and graphics though, I think that the UI for the menus is
Placeholdery?
I don't know why. Huh?
Placeholdery? That's what I was gonna go with.
It's just I don't know why it really kind of reminded me of something I didn't like about Wet with its like graphic design, it's like UI design. I'm like, this just looks like that, like, oh, we're trying to be like edgy. It's like dirty and like it looks like paint strokes, but then like paint splatters or like dirt being scuffed up onto the screen.
I see
And
what you
it's
mean
like-
now. I see exactly what
There
you mean.
was something
now.
about it. I was like, I just don't like this look. Like trying to just be edgy or like
Yeah.
trying to make it look dirty and grimy, but it's just like not coming off right. Like
I see what you mean. Because
yeah.
at least with Wet, I knew it didn't have all the money in the world, but at least it kind of fit. You know what I mean? Like you see that intro, like the start screen and the main menu for Wet. It's like, okay, this sets the tone of like what this is going to be. Might not be the best, but it sets the tone. Whereas this game, it's just yellow.
yeah.
Just yellow and ugly as fuck. That's
Yeah. Well, it was also at a time too. I've always been a little confused. I think X-Men iconography, especially at that time, was sort of all over the place. Because it's like you had the stark contrast of the movies and then you had the comics, which were all of a sudden like super comic booky, but then they were moving into more like leaning more into like the serious look of the movies with like simpler costumes, the black and the yellow, trying to do like something less,
right.
you know, and that was obviously the appetite at the time. So like, you know, when I look at the box art of X-Men Destiny and I see like that X and I'm just like, it kind of feels all over the place. Like it's like covered
because
in dirt and grime. And
it takes a little bit from the Ultimate Universe, it takes a little bit from the main 616 universe, it takes a little bit from like other runs, 80s runs. Like it takes from everywhere. Like for example, Pixie's design is very Ultimate Pixie's design, but then like the rest of the cast is very General 616 style.
Right,
and it's,
right.
It's like, which one are we going with? At least, like, for example, like X-Men Legends, at least it's stuck with, we're staying with the Ultimate line. Like, we're giving Jean her short hair. We're giving everybody the generic suits. Like, at least it's stuck with one universe and stuck with that. But this game kind of goes everywhere with all of the characters and the different designs. And once again, what the fuck is up with Nightcrawler?
It's really a lack of art direction, really. I mean, because they were split. They're trying to pull from too many things and not making it a cohesive look. You know, I mean, like Mystique is wearing like her more modern garb, and Toad, where universe are you from? What is going on?
Yeah, and then you got just basic Juggernaut.
But Juggernaut looked fine, I guess, and then like North Star looked, again, just like Wolverine, like ripped straight out of the comic. So it's like, why is he wearing like his normal ass outfit? But then you have like, it's just a really strange mishmash, honestly.
I do think it's funny, the little tidbit of the Juggernaut boss fight that the main director, where he was like, bro, what the fuck is this Juggernaut fight? And they had to like have Marvel send them like encyclopedias because they weren't hip on like all the characters. They were just going off of what they knew from like base knowledge, and which is so weird because they do pull out some like North Star. Like that's who we're picking out. North Star is not really.
I don't know why North Star is in this in particular. I'm just like, I wouldn't say he's like a deep cut, but he's like a B tier kind of character. I mean, he's from Alpha Team, which is a Canada-based. Like, he's a Canada-based superhero, but it's just like, I don't understand why he's in here.
Right.
It's kind of interesting. Surge also was somewhat interesting too, but you can connect her to Pixie. They're both kind of like
I get Surge at least. Surge at least is like
strange.
She's there, but like there's no Storm.
Yeah, there's no Beast.
Yeah,
there's no Sabretooth. I thought there'd be
at least be Sabretooth. Yeah,
I don't know.
No Blob.
There's a really interesting choice. I think Emma Frost has a weird role too. Like, it feels like she was cut down.
Yeah,
I feel like
she took Jean Grey's like spot, and they were like, she has a better design. Let's just use Emma Frost. Yeah,
or something, right? Like, it just feels like they really cut down like how many lines she has when she's talking to you. You never really have like a full interaction with her that's like a proper like mentorship. The same with Cyclops. I mean, the whole story's.
Let's just talk about it right now. Let's talk.
All right, let's jump into story.
What is your general opinion on this made up ass story?
Well, it's like I was saying, like, it just feels like, let's take all like the tropes and the genericisms of X-Men and let's just throw them in here. Like, let's make sure that there's a mutant versus human thing, and let's make sure that everybody, that Wolverine is untrustable, and let's make sure that a Gambit, like, it just feels like
bring
very
in the
Sentinels.
Let's bring in
Oh my god, I forgot that it made me actually annoyed to be an X-Men fan. I'm just like, is this really all X-Men is to you guys? Cool.
Just fucking Sentinels and Magneto throwing shit.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yes. It was so like cliched. Like, I don't know. It really had me rolling my eyes. And again, I'm wearing my X-Men shirt. Well, this is a New Mutant shirt, but I was just like, oh, dude, this is just so annoying. But the whole premise, the whole story has so much potential, but you really have to be delicate with it, because I think you can veer off into generic superhero game as opposed to something that feels like only the X-Men like universe could do something like this. You know, like if you custom created a character and then you're at Xavier's Institute and then maybe something happens where you're left with the choice to decide like, well, I'm leaving the Institute, you know, I'm leaving X-Men Academy, and I'm gonna go join the Brotherhood or join the other. That'd be kind of, I mean, it'd be a lot, but like maybe you go down to join the Morlocks, or you join the Canada-based team Alpha Flight, or like, I don't know, like just present some choices. That would be cool. But this whole like, and obviously for those of you who don't know, X-Men Destiny was supposed to be far more ambitious in so many ways. It was supposed to have, it was supposed to be a custom character. They stripped it down to 5, and then they had to narrow it down to even 3. And even then, the 3 aren't equally like they're not treated equally as far as like narrative development. Apparently, what one of the main dudes, I think the guy that you chose is like the guy who got the most character development and has like the most fleshed out.
That makes a lot more sense because a lot of his options, at least comparatively, because the Wii version doesn't have like choices or anything like that. It's just you pick a character and go straight through. But he had like, that's why I was saying, like, it's weird. Like, he had like this like Green Goblin like inner monologue that was his dad, and he was one of the main antagonists. Like, his dad was like a general for like, what are they, peacekeepers, whatever the fuck the name was, pacifiers, yeah. And he's a pacifier, and like they even mentioned like, hey, you should cut, like, so like once he becomes like joins like one of the people, his costume, he puts like, most of his costumes has like a bandana covering his pacifier tattoo. And he does like eventually come to understand that he is a mutant and that there's more to it than this, and that maybe the pacifiers are wrong. So every time that happens, like the in a monologue of his dad being like, you he's pretty much calling him the hard R every time he hops in like his mind. He's like, you're no son of mine, you mutant lover. And it's like, damn, bro, like calm down. Like, it's okay. But I don't know why that inner monologue is there. And it was weird because none of the other characters have that inner monologue or anything going on with their characters. Yeah, that conflict. And I think also just the fact that it was so stripped down, I feel like a lot of the characters were just exposition dumping. So like you get like a wheel, like a dialogue wheel of like options that you can choose and talk with different characters. But most of the time it was just like, talk with this character to get more information if you're not already aware of these characters and like lore of situations of what's going on with them. It's never really like +5 favor with Mystique or something like that. It's nothing granular like that. It's just really there to give you more lore without giving you a codex to read.
Also, calling it a dialogue wheel is generous because it's basically a fucking list. It's a goddamn list, and it feels gross to navigate. You don't even know which option you've already picked, so you have to like make sure you remember what the title of that question is so you don't pick it again, because there's many times where I was like, wait, did I already hear this little
I did
speech?
That myself
and then
too.
I'm like, fuck. Yeah, so because it doesn't like gray out after you've listened to it. Real quick too, just back to presentation real quick, the font that they use for the subtitles for pretty much the entire game, that font, I'm pretty sure we used that font for Back of the Rack for a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of hilarious.
Hold on, bro. Let me look at the fucking
that font.
footage.
I'm pretty sure is also the Captain America First Avenger font. I'm very like in tune with like typefaces for whatever reason, being like, and like, yeah, they that font is very similar. See if you can. I think it's called like, I don't know what it's called, but
is that not Barge? That's like the main font that we use. Now that you say it,
I think
I think that is just Barge.
No.
No. That is the very first one that we used for like the very first season of Back of the Rack when we used to do like the big like. Yeah, that's the exact same font. I forgot the name of it, close. But yeah, that is because I remember the square, like
squarish. Yeah,
the squarish design of it. That's actually, I didn't even peep that. I guess I just always assume Barge for us now compared to like any other font.
Yeah. Which is, I've been trying to get away from like Barge as I've been trying to explore like different typefaces. But yeah, we used to use that first font. Then we moved to Barge a bit more. And then, yeah, I've been trying to use. What do I use now? I don't even remember.
I be going with the flow now. I just be choosing fonts. I just be going with the
it's
vibe.
we don't have it as much at like it's not as present as in our our previous iterations of Back of the Rack.
Yeah, I only
So the
really use it
font
for
isn't-
the text, or if I have to put like a text note or something, I'll put barge instead, just to make it easy. It's like readable text font.
What am I using? Not Impact. I don't know. Like it's a more simple font. It looks better for like the CRT and like the reveal things that we have for it. But
we're not giving you the sauce. Yeah, I don't get the sauce.
yeah, we're not gonna tell you what we use. But what were you talking about before I threw you off?
Oh,
track?
I was talking about what is his name? Adrian? Isn't that his name?
Oh right, yeah, you were talking about his whole story. Yeah. Yeah, since I played as Amy or whatever, apparently she's supposed to be Sunfire's daughter because Sunfire is a Japanese mutant. And it's pretty much said all but in name. So they don't name him specifically, but a lot of the things that they hint to, it's like, oh, okay, that's probably Sunfire. But maybe it's not. I don't know. But yeah, her story is basically that she's an immigrant and her dad sends her to America to be safe, and we open up with her immediately being in danger. But
doesn't she like immediately sneak off the boat into the rally?
Yeah,
and then
shit happens. It feels really like contrived, yeah. And then it ultimately comes out like the idea is that her conflict is that not safe as in like physically safe, but that I will go through this dangerous path of finding out my powers and being in the situations, and I'll be able to protect myself, which will ultimately make me safe because I'm independent. That's the idea, that her story is sort of like kind of beat by beat. Sure. Yeah, because she's like talking to herself. She's like, yeah, my dad didn't send me here to be to not do anything, and it's just like a whole thing. I'm like, yeah,
like that's exactly why he brought you there. Yeah.
He brought you
there,
I think that's what
could have just kept you in Japan. And
yeah, it's really strange, the whole thing, but yeah, the story is just I don't know. It's bad, guys. It just feels like they're throwing every cliche X-Men thing you can think of, which annoys me because what is it called? X-Men 97, the Disney show, kind of felt like that too, where they're like, let's just fucking throw.
But they had to catch people back. They had to go like, hey man, remember the X-Men TV show? Yeah. So like, but I mean, they did go deeper with like the Hellfire Gala and all that stuff. So I mean,
yeah, they did some recent stuff, but I think my main problem with that show is that there's a lot going on in a short amount of time that they have with the episodes. So they feel like they're just covering so much ground, and that's like one of my biggest pet peeves because they don't let things breathe. But that kind of happens here in some sense, in that they're just like doing human versus mutant rallies. They're doing Magneto versus X-Men. They're doing
Weapon
secret
X
underground
programming.
mutant. Yeah. They're doing brainwashing. They're doing Bastion controlling things from behind the scenes. They're doing mutant stealing powers. They're just doing a lot, and it all doesn't really feel cohesive. I think maybe for an open world game, that kind of thing would work better because it's like you can pace it out differently. But this is such a streamlined thing. It's streamlined with all the story beats. It feels like
it's like a level, and then they give you a dressing as to why stuff is happening in this level, and then they go, these are the 4 mutants that you're going to meet in this level. Here you go, do your thing. Right. It's kind of just, it feels isolated because, like you said, like this game was stripped down from being this super ambitious RPG action open world ass game to just being a generic linear beat 'em up. So a lot of those story beats that probably could have been fleshed out. Like, I feel like Gambit would have had his own arc of like 10 hours of gameplay if this was like a truly fleshed out full thing. Like Gambit feels like his area would have been, what's that planet on Mass Effect with the nightclub? I can't remember.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like he felt
Yeah.
like he would have been like that entire section would have just been him right there. But
Yeah.
they don't have the luxury of that, and they kind of just got to just keep pushing you forward, so you don't really get to like even when you meet Gambit, it's like you're chasing somebody that's on the way to Gambit, then you just meet Gambit, and he's like, okay, yeah, you're a cool guy. All right, anyway, see you later. Like that's the whole level. Or like there was one Brotherhood level where no, I think or is it? I think it's the same thing where it's like you go through the prison,
Okay.
but you're going through the prison with Pyro, and then you release Surge and Colossus and
Oh,
all
that's
that.
early on. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
early on. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it's all the same shit, but it's all dressing. I don't know. The weirdest part for me was that they established the Fantastic Four exists, and it's like why? Why did you mention?
Oh, they do.
Them?
Wait, did I miss that?
Yeah, they do mention them. Like in one of the scenes, they go like, "Yeah, bro, the Fantastic Four or something like that." Like they mention that the Fantastic Four is an active participant in this universe, and it's like, why? Like what the fuck? Like just keep it X-Men, bro. You didn't have to mention them at all. Like why the fuck did you mention them?
I think one of the biggest things this game does too is like the fact that it kills Professor X off screen, and for him being such an important and integral part of the X-Men, they treat it so flaccidly and so like with a lot of apathy. Like they don't even seem to care. It doesn't say like how long ago he was killed. You just know that the X-Men aren't really united in this because Wolverine's doing his own thing. It just seems like it's fucking Emma Frost and Cyclops. Like everybody just seems so scattered, and you never really feel that you like, oh, it's the X-Men team, but they don't focus on that either. So when they do come together, you're just like, I guess like we're all here now. Like they never say like, oh, you brought the X-Men together. We were all fragmented after Professor X's death, which was a couple of years ago, maybe. How long has it been? Like they kind of just skate over this stuff, and everything feels so like you can feel the apathy of the lead director. I forgot his name.
Somehow Palpatine is back as explanation. Like somehow Professor Xavier died while fighting Bastion. Don't worry about it. He's not here, so we don't have to animate a nigga in a wheelchair. Here you go.
Yeah, I think it was. I don't know. I think that was somewhat of a mistake, especially because you're a new mutant, and so what makes the X-Men sometimes I think special, and what I like about them is like these kids, these teenagers or whatever that are going through a really hard time in their lives, and then you have Professor X to sort of like give them that security and that reassurance and that safety. But with this, you have like. I guess they're all teenagers, right? The three main characters.
They're all there. Like they could have had like Professor X be like the guy in your head talking.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah,
stuff.
Like
so you'd be like, I got Professor X in my head. He's
And it really reminds me of how X-Men Legends does that story so much better, where it's like, because I think it follows the story of not follows entirely, but it starts off with a character named Magma, and you play as Wolverine and Cyclops. And some event in town happens, and Magma's the cause of it. And you're going essentially to go like, hey, like we can take care of you. And the Brotherhood is there as well. And you're kind of competing against them, and you fight Juggernaut. It's very like first episode. Or first level.
yeah. Because even in that game, even like later down, don't you get to play as Professor Xavier? Like when you go into
you do. You play like the astral. Yeah, he does astral projections and you play as him. But anyway, so you bring Magma back to the professor and then you play as Magma, and then you get to learn about like all the heroes and you get to explore the X Mansion, and you get to learn about your powers, and it's such a good way to tutorialize both the gameplay, the mechanics, and then the world and the lore, and establish everything and like what the normal is, It sets such a great baseline, and then
you do
from
the
there,
danger room, and then you go into an actual mission.
Yeah, and then so it's great. It's genius, And then she's like, "Okay, I'm going to be an X-Man," and they train her a little bit. Let's take you on this mission that seems like not that crazy. We're just going to go investigate something, and then it turns into a whole thing, So I don't know. It's just better paced, more thoughtful. Integrates the characters more. It's just it's. obviously this was never going to be that, but
You know,
and it's funny because this was the last X-Men game. Is that what we read or heard?
yeah,
This is
this is the last X-Men game before. I mean, yeah, like I guess the last dedicated X-Men game because I mean, of course, Marvel Rivals and Ultimate Alliance
yeah.
3 and stuff like that. But like a dedicated
The
like
last-
X-Men game, not Marvel game. This is the
Right.
last one.
not like an Ultimate Alliance or something. Yeah, this is
Yeah. Honestly, I
which-
thought Origins Wolverine came out after this.
I have that, and I'm just thinking about that might be 2009. You might have to double check.
When did that game come out? That game came out. Oh yeah, that is 2009. Yeah, it is. Yeah, this is the last one.
Yeah.
Wow. Damn.
So yeah, it didn't it didn't quite leave on a strong note, unfortunately, because
Just like the X-Men
Clearly.
IP.
wait, what was the last X-Men movie?
The last X-Men movie was Dark Phoenix, right? Not counting Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, for Fox. Yeah, I think you're right. Well, yeah, you can't really count Deadpool as like an
Because
X-Men movie.
New Mutants came out after. Well, New Mutants was done before Dark Phoenix, but it came out afterwards, right?
Yeah, I think it was like the last.
Yeah, because that came out
Yeah,
2020, but that was technically like when did Dark Phoenix come out? 2019. Damn. Back
Okay,
to back?
yeah. I remember.
Yeah.
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 Okay. And Dark Phoenix has actually some good scenes in it. Unfortunately, it's another movie that was too ambitious, and they were like, "Let's just fucking make it into one movie." And yeah,
Man, X-Men, bro. Poor X-Men. They're about to have the same issue as the Fantastic Four, man.
hey, I mean, Fantastic Four comes out this week.
And I
At the
already
end
know
of-
the entire plot, bro, and I hate it, bro.
You know it?
Bro, I'm gonna tell you right now. Quote me on this, bro. We recording this the Sunday before the fucking movie comes out. I'm gonna tell you right now because they already told us that Franklin Richard and Galactus is in this movie. This is exactly what's gonna happen.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
I think in the 2010s and 2000s comic books, I feel like we're kind of all over the place. So you're just like, wait, what? Who's this person? They're also doing this, and there's two different teams of Avengers, and
I do agree with
know,
that, especially with like the main 616 universe. It's very all over the place in terms of just like comics and runs. That's why I think I fuck with the Ultimate Universe a lot. It's because it's a segregated, like, this is everything in this universe is these books. If it has Ultimate in the beginning of the name, this is all one universe. They're all connected, so it's easier to catch up on compared to. There's like 17 Spider-Man and Miles Morales runs right now, bro. I don't know which one is the main one. I don't know or care, bro. Which one's the Black Panther with the white sun? I don't know.
it's too much. It's really, and then if that's gonna carry on into the movies, I think you're gonna lose a lot of people. But yeah, let's get into gameplay and. Which is the section where we cover mechanics, progression, gameplay loop, stuff like that. I think we've talked quite a bit of some of like the things that this game does in terms of like what is it called? Dialogue wheels or dialogue lists. That's one of the core mechanics, and one of the things that the game at that time tried to sell itself on is that like, oh, you can make choices, and you can either be with the X-Men or you can be with the Brotherhood and all this. Ultimately, it seems like it's inconsequential. Yeah.
It's just choosing this level over this level for like 2 levels, and then the rest are like the same level. You're going with like just going with a different character instead of that other character. It's like, oh, do you want to go with Pyro or do you want to go with Surge in this level? That's it.
Yeah, which is sad because the idea I think is there, but the other mechanic is basically like you get to choose your own. You get to choose the ability. Not only do you get to choose a character 1 out of 3, you get to choose 1 out of 3 superhero abilities, which is shadow matter, density control, and energy projection.
Yeah, like energy light projection.
Yeah. So basically, like, Colossus, Psylocke, or Cyclops.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's a good analogy right there. Yeah.
But these choices are all ass. No, I can't say that in all because
No, you're
I
right.
played the other ones.
No, you're right.
I played Shadow Matter.
You're absolutely correct. They are all ass. And even then, having like they give you these like during certain boss battles or certain situations in a story, you'll like choose between like, do you want this passive or this passive? Do you want this special ability or this special ability or this ultimate or this ultimate? So you have like the replayability within that power of choosing different styles. Like I think one for like the shadow is like a teleport and the other one is like a pool, I think.
Yes.
And then yeah, so I mean you have options within the class, but that's not the real basis of progression for your character. There's the X gene system where I think a lot of the fun comes from being able to mix and match powers and passive abilities on your character to make them stand out a little bit more. Like I use toads a lot just for the poison damage.
Yeah, I used Pyros and Iceman's, and then I think I used Wolverine's health regen. So that was sort of my like 3, because you get to choose one defensive, one offensive, and one
Utility, I think.
utility or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was, I think some of the like, what do you call it? Tutorial boxes, the way they were explaining things confused me. Like, apparently, every X suit that you get can like enhance.
Yeah, they have
X
their
gene
own
or something?
they have their own passive abilities as well too with the
Like
suits.
Right. So if you picked like, let's say you picked Wolverine's suit, you get, a boost in health regen and something else. And then you could also pick his, this is where I wasn't clear. Like if you picked his defensive ability and his offensive ability, like did you get some extra boost?
No,
it made it seem like you get some sort of synergistic, like, oh, hey, like now your character turns into Wolverine or some shit like.
No, it was just extra. It was just like I think one was like you get like your energy regens faster. Just like silly things like that. And like you can upgrade
Things
all of these. Yeah.
Very background things.
Yeah, like toads, where it's like if you attack people, it'll poison them, and then if you beat somebody up and they die, it'll spread the poison if you upgrade it. Or Juggernaut makes it, or was it Emma Frost, where like once you get to a certain amount of energy, you get like a diamond form, and then you're like more resilient
I used that one. Yeah,
to power. Yeah, so I mean, it adds a little bit more, but it's like you just become this amalgamation of fuckery that it kind of ruins the aesthetic of shadow powers, because it's like, okay, I got poison, I got
X-Men
fire, I'm flying around and teleporting. Like, what is my character?
This actually brings me to something I was going to talk about earlier, but I forgot. And this is like the power fantasy of being an X-Men, or being, so like I was thinking about this, like, okay, is it that we want to be a mutant in the world of X-Men? Or do people want to play as the heroes, the X-Men? Do they want to play as Wolverine, Emma Frost, Cyclops? And I thought about this deeply because I'm like, well, why does this feel so off? And like what the balance is. Like, I don't want to just be in the X-Men world. Like I think I would rather play as one of the X-Men heroes as opposed to creating my own. But yes. I also see it's like, let's say they made an Avengers game. Like, do you want to custom create your own hero and fight alongside the Avengers? Or
no, I want to play as the Hulk.
The Avengers.
I want to be Iron Man.
I want to be Captain America. Like, I don't want to. Like, it just feels weird. Like, it's kind of like the DC Universe Online game where I feel like
that's exactly why I fell off of that game, is because it's like you could choose between like the Flash, Superman, or like Batman, and it's like I don't want to be. I would rather just play as the Flash. Like, I don't want to run like the Flash.
Yeah, because then it starts to feel like a generic, like Invincible or The Boys, or like just like some offshoot like superhero thing. Like what's that show? Heroes. That show Heroes, right?
Yeah.
It's like, no. I don't want the power set. I want to be involved. Like, I want to play as those heroes, as opposed to like some generic backstory of some random person.
Now that makes me think of like City of Heroes forever ago.
Right.
And all the power sets that had. And like, but I don't know. Like, I feel like maybe people just liked playing as those. Because, I mean, it's like a generic power. It's like laser.
Exactly.
Nature. Gadget. Robot.
Wind.
Yeah, like it's not like you're choosing like Captain Man or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can make your own hero with that generic power, but I mean, there's only so many powers that you could really choose. Psychic, you know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know.
Okay, think about the Spider-Man universe. What if they made a game? They're like, oh, you can just create your own Spider-Man. Like you're not Peter Parker, you're not Miles.
I think that's why they canceled that fucking live service Spider-Man that they were working on, because it's like I don't want to play as fucking generic multiverse Spider-Man. You know, now that I just mentioned that, that's probably why in Spider-Man 2 they had those multiverse as missions with the spiders, because they were probably alluding to the live service game that unfortunately got canceled for Spider-Man.
Right.
Maybe that's
Maybe. Well, I know that was supposed to be connected to the movie Spider-Verse.
Into the
Spider-Verse.
Because that's what I'm thinking. Like, you would just make your own Spider-Verse character, and you would have like an ice Spider-Man and a electric and a fire Spider-Man. You know, just everything in it. That's probably what they were going to do with that. And then you can customize your suit, change the colors willy-nilly, have a little pink spider suit and shit. Oh man, disgusting. I almost threw up.
See, the stuff is like. I feel like the stuff is fun, but you do lose a little bit of like, well, no, I want to.
Playing for like, Peter Parker and Miles Morales. I'm not playing for just Spider-Man.
I want to be in their world. I don't want to insert myself as my own avatar and be around them. And I feel like that's what this game sort of does. Where when I was playing it, I was like, oh, cool, an X-Men game. Exciting. Love X-Men. Playing it, and I'm like, I don't really care. Like, I would have rather been able just to play as Wolverine, Cyclops, Emma Frost, whoever, and maybe you get to pick out of the 3 heroes, and you get to. It's like the X-Men. Did you ever play X-Men 3? The video game.
Yeah. Exactly. Like if it just had like a Warriors of Orochi, choose 3 niggas and do your fucking missions, and you can have a brotherhood storyline. By the way. Where's our Marvel Muso in general?
Marvel, oh my god, that'd be insane.
Final Fantasy and Marvel Musos are, even Mario, bro. Cody don't want no money, bro. Imagine fucking Luigi doing the ghost suck as like a Muso attack, and he sucks all the characters up and then shoots them in like a. Listen, hire me.
I feel. I think an X-Men Muso would be amazing, but then maybe they would just make it into like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 4 or 5 or some shit.
I'm gonna say Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 pretty much is. If you only play with X-Men characters, it is a Marvel Muso.
But I don't know. So it just really got me thinking about that. Like if you and me were game makers, we were in the room and we're like, okay, we got the license to X-Men. What do we want to do? What do players want? And some, like one of our staff was like, oh, what if you get to create your own mutant and you get to do this? And like what the conversation would be like, well, do people want to create their own mutants?
But we got to think about the time though, because that was the trend. Remember?
There was
Skyrim and Oblivion and Fallout and Mass Effect. There was a lot of games where it was create your own character, go in this world, or do your own thing. And I even think about myself, because that is a soft spot for myself. Like I noticed that I play a lot of adventure games, and as a kid, I did gravitate towards the games. Like Oblivion has a really big like part of my soul, because I would just recreate characters and make like generic things of like, I'm a monk, I only use my fist, or I'm the orc with the axe. Like I would make characters and role play as those characters, and not necessarily like, even at the detriment of like not like I wouldn't use magic on the orc, because that's not what the orc character would do. Like,
role played.
That's what I'm saying. I was a role player, and I gravitated towards video games where I created my own characters, like Way of the Samurai, or even some Dynasty Warriors games. I would create my own, like Samurai Warriors 2 Empires. I created whole clans of characters and ideas and would like mesh them around with the scenario, randomized scenario mode and stuff. So like you can get granular, but that's me. But those games also had the systems to allow for that much customization and freedom. Whereas this game, you're playing as a generic character that you don't have any say in what they do. You're choosing choices that don't really have any tangible choice. You are going through a story. Like it's like you're just choosing set dressings that don't have any real effect. Because at the end of the day, you're going to beat Bastion. At the end of the day, no matter what power you choose, you're going to choose 3 power-ups. And it's going to be, you're going to choose one ultimate. You're going to choose the ultimate that does single target or the ultimate that does multi-target. You're going to choose the passive that heals or the passive that does more damage. You know what I'm saying? Like, all that you're choosing isn't really elevating the player expression per se, as even at X-Men Legends or Marvel Ultimate Alliance, you can build these characters in certain ways. Like you can build a Jean Grey to be a support over a heavy damage dealer in X-Men Legends comparatively.
Right. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think we're talking about like a whole like a very, you know, like bird's eye view of things here. But yeah, like if they were to branch their X-Men franchise or IP right into like, these are like the strictly X-Men games, and maybe like here's a Marvel game where you live in the Marvel universe as a custom character, you know, and you can like create the things. Because I do understand that I like games with custom characters, and I gravitate towards those. But when it comes to established characters and established worlds like that are from comics or based off things, you want to play as those characters. Like those are the icons in that world, you know. As opposed to something like Skyrim or Oblivion, it's like you're not like, oh, I want to play as fucking
Dova King,
that dark elf guy. It's like, no, you make your character. The same with Baldur's Gate or Fallout. It's like, yeah, there's cool characters, but like you want to create your character in that world. The same with just any character creator, Neo and things. Like there's cool characters about, but creating your character is cool and it's alluring. I just think it's sort of a conflict in some sense with the superhero games, because
the whole point is to play as a superhero.
I want to play as Wolverine, you know, where I want to, although the idea of like doing a mutant academy type thing where it's like you create your whatever little teenager with emerging mutant abilities and you have to go to the X-Men Academy and like train and learn how to use it. That's a cool idea too. Like a Persona-esque almost, like could combine a little bit of Persona in there with like love triangles.
Hire us. Because that sounds amazing, bro. You go on your little missions and they're like, wow, this is getting crazy. And then like,
yeah. And maybe like within the X-Men, it's like, oh, you can either do things like the Gambit Wolverine way, or you could be more by the books, like, you know, Cyclops and like you could. Damn, I'm like.
I'm hip. I'm hyping myself up to this game that doesn't. I'm cooking right now. This shit is kind of fire.
Yeah,
I like that.
Hold up.
Why didn't they think of that? Why did they think of fucking a rally and then just generic missions in between? Like,
no, yeah. I think that's more of a fantasy of like maybe being at the X Mansion, hanging out with, you know, your hero. It's kind of like actually this is another good example is fucking oh my god, just Midnight Suns, where you create your own character, the hunter.
Yeah, but he isn't.
But you can still control other. Yeah, like it's weird.
I don't know. Niggas wasn't thinking.
This is like a whole YouTube video. I might make a video essay on this for no reason.
Okay, so other than, you know, woulda, coulda, shoulda, what do you think of the actual like general like combat and?
Yeah.
Because that's 95% of the game right there is beating people up.
That first level, it is sad with some of these games, but it is a very beat 'em up-esque, old school beat 'em up-esque philosophy. It's very, very basic and very primitive. I don't think it's super like. I think it's solid. Like it's serviceable, right? Like it's like get this game out the door. People are gonna be okay with this. But the thing that really drags it down is that there's no variation, and it's repetitive really quickly, right? And then the powers aren't exactly fun to even use, so then the game just sort of falls apart in that sense. I think if you weren't a like huge X-Men fan, didn't really care about that stuff, I can see many people being like, this isn't bad, because like they don't know better maybe, or because they don't have like a high standard, or maybe because this game feels like it should have been a PS2 game,
Right.
like early PS2 game, because of its like how simple it is and how things feel.
Yeah,
But I
for a
think
360
for a
game,
PS
especially at the end of the PS3's life cycle, because this game
Yeah.
came out. It's funny enough, this game came out a week before Spider-Man: Edge of Time, which is
Right.
compared to this game. And even then, Edge of Time is a budget title that honestly could be a boater game by itself.
Yeah, it could be.
That game is leagues more ambitious and more attractive looking than this game. And then you have Skyrim, Dark Souls, everything else that came out from like 2011 to 2012. Like, you're getting some super huge hitters when it comes to like the 360. So it's like, why would I play X-Men Destiny when I can go play Dragon's Dogma?
Right.
Something that will actually care about what I'm doing, because it reminds me of, have you played a game called Splatterhouse?
No, but I've heard of it.
It reminds me a lot of that, or like Yaiba Ninja Gaiden, where it's like it's not bad. It's just comparatively like you said, like if I rented this game at fucking Hollywood Video for the weekend, I would not be upset with like beating this. A lot of boater games are just rentals that unfortunately were past their rental time. But yeah, just if I rented this game, beat it in a weekend, had a beer or two, chilled out while I rented this and fucking, what movies came out in 2011? I don't even fucking remember.
Even then, I can't even. It's very, very bargain bin. Like, this game feels budget. The combat is fine, but I think it just gets too boring even for like a weekend thing where you would probably be unsatisfied ultimately, you know?
It's a Nicktoons Unite Shrek 2 as game where
exactly.
It's like,
it feels just like, I guess, like this is just like a basic 3D beat 'em up with a skin over it, and then very minimal effort put into any other aspect.
give this to your 8-year-old and let them chew it up kind of game.
Yeah, it works. It fundamentally works, and it's, there's a beginning and an ending and everything, but like it feels very much like junk food of the lowest. Like this is Tostino's pizza.
I wouldn't even go that far. I would say it's more so like Oodles the Noodles. Fucking Marching Ramen.
Okay.
Top Ramen. It's not bad, but I mean, I'll eat it if I need to eat something. I'm just not going out of my way to eat it. That's bad. That's giving a bad name to ramen, because I ate some ramen earlier today. So let me go with that.
I think, and as we're talking about like all these, like, this game has so much potential. I think that's what's frustrating about it, is that you and me are sitting here thinking about all the potential that this game could have been, and knowing how it was squandered due to a lack of interest, due to technical issues, due to like leadership issues, all this kind of stuff,
legal issues,
and legal issues, all this, But let me talk a little bit about some of the gameplay real quick here. I do have some notes. So I was thinking about, what if the dialogue tree was cut? How would the game feel? I wonder if it would flow well if you just cut out those sections of like sitting there, like fucking.
I think it would be better off without it.
Just straight action. I mean, it's already dumb, mindless. Like this is dumber than Warriors. People say that Warriors is like mindless action. I'm like, no.
I at least have to dodge. I at least have to fucking dodge in fucking Warriors games.
Yeah, this is very, very mindless. I think the 3 core special attacks all felt flaccid, and I feel like it probably was the same for the other
It was.
For both,
At least for the density,
for,
at least it was very, like even the choices that you get. There was never a choice in both my playthroughs where I was like, oh wow, that's a huge difference. No, they all were pretty like, oh, this should have been there from the jump.
I do think that there are some cool elements that I'm like, okay, I see what you guys were doing. That's kind of cool. I don't think I've seen that pretty often. And that was like when you get one of your new core abilities, one of the three, the like time slows down, and then you get a choice between a specific power. You know, like you're about to engage in a combat or like in a combat scenario, and then time slows down, and then you get a list of like, oh, you can go with this one or this one, and I'm like, okay, I guess that's kind of cute.
But like the presentation and the UI of that was like so ugly. Like it looked very placeholder of like the swoop of the shadow. I'm like, what the fuck is this, bro? Like that you didn't finish that.
Yeah, and the descriptions, I'm like, I don't know what. Can I get an example? Like
right. I'm like,
I don't know what this is.
I don't know what this does.
That's so funny. Yeah, they're very, very ugly. Platforming animations. I actually liked some of the platforming animations, but I think that the very sticky auto grab and then the very non-sticky and imprecise jump made platforming feel very, very ugly.
Okay. You had me in the first half. I'm not going to lie. I thought you were about to be like, I fuck with platforming. I was going to be like, we're done. We're not doing Back in the Rack no more.
Wow. This is it. I was waiting for you to say some shit. This is it.
This is the final straw.
No.
We've liked some shit, but this crosses the line.
Could you imagine something like that dissolves Back in the Rack? Yeah, he had the worst takes every time. I could not deal with it anymore.
No, there was like a couple sections with the platforming, like the prison where you have to like jump on like the electric ones. I kind of didn't give a shit and just got attacked and just went through it all. I
was like, this isn't doing that much damage. I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah,
like, fuck it. But yeah, I liked the side running animation. I don't know if it's different for the guy. Maybe.
Oh yeah, where he does like the run. Yeah, that's the same.
Yeah. I'm like, that's cool to me. I liked it. It reminded me of. I don't know. There's some other game that kind of has like it was ninja-esque, so I thought it was kind of cool.
I just don't like the charge of like you doing the running and it goes and then you jump like that's dumb.
And you overshoot it.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah. And as far as progression, I think first off, the X genes. It's very old school to have your power-ups like out in the world, just sitting there for you to walk on over and pick it up. It's a very old school, like a power-up. Muso games have that, obviously, just a floating thing to give you extra, I'm not really a fan of that in games. Even when I was younger, I just always thought it was like the most unimmersive, ugly video gamey thing. Like, oh, come pick up this health thing, and it's like a floating cross or whatever, the red cross. Like I've always not liked that. It's here in full force. You just see this like giant glowing DNA strand, and you run over and pick it up, and it's like super bright.
They could have put it in the lore a little bit better, because it's like Psylocke's not even in the game, but you get all these Psylocke upgrades, or like. Like maybe if they made it to where like you touch a person and then there was like what was it, Infamous Second Son, when you like touch the person and then it does the whole thing and then you get their powers. Yeah, like if you touch the person and absorb their powers and it's like, okay, now you've unlocked Pyro's defensive section or something like that. Okay, cool. But like, why am I just picking up randomly like Wolverine and he's not even in this level? Like, why am I picking this up?
Right. Why is this DNA around here? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. They also made a really ugly and loud sound until you picked them up. It was like a buzzing electrical sound.
Yes.
Like, I'm just like, where the fuck is this thing? I know it's around here somewhere. It's annoying as hell. But that level of progression where it's like you're leveling up, but there's no like level indicator, like it doesn't say like you're level 12 or something. It just it doesn't say anything.
Gene to level 2.
You're using EXP as a sort of currency to increase the level of each power that you get, each X gene. It's all done very sloppily. It doesn't feel good. I never felt like I was really progressing. But again, that's just not a surprise for like this game. It was just very half-ass. It could have been like they really could have just been like let's just fucking make a beat 'em up. Just have like have a fucking storefront. Buy your generic ass like upgrades, more health, more this, better power. Like because the way they did it, it's like they were trying to be clever about it with like the X genes and like you're picking up but it comes across as just very half-ass and like just unfulfilling this promise. So
it feels like the game. It's weird because in the marketing they still describe this game as how ambitious and like, oh, you get this is the first game you get to choose which side you want to be on, and they still talk about the game as if it was still the like pre-production version of the game, and it's like this game is just a beat 'em up. Like you could have just expressed that. So you hop into this game expecting like all this, and even the name Destiny, you're like, wow, cool, it's gonna be so crazy. And then you play it and you're just like, oh, this is just generic. Like I've played this before. This is Shrek 2, the fucking video game, but single player.
Yeah. X-Men 3, The Last Stand game, or X-Men, what is it called? X3, the official game, I think.
I think it is just X-Men 3, the game.
Yeah, that game is far superior because it knows what it's trying to be, and it's scaled back properly for like what it's promising people. Hey, you can play as Colossus. No, I'm sorry. Wait, who can you play as?
I know it was Wolverine.
Iceman, Wolverine, and Colossus.
I remember Wolverine vividly, but I can't remember the rest of the characters. Maybe Nightcrawler? Maybe?
Hold on. I am so... Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Nightcrawler, Iceman, and Wolverine. That's who it is. So you get to play as them three, and it fulfills each promise. Each character feels very different. It looks good. Like, it's just a licensed game, but they knew what they were doing. They're like, the direction is tight. Like, have you played that game? The UI is great. It's using music.
I played it forever ago, but yeah, it's just
super simple.
It's crazy.
Feels like a lot better.
10 years older than this game, and
it feels. That's what I'm saying. And then this is just like a shitty license game, you know. And this one, it just goes to show you that like the ambition and obviously the budgetary constraints and the leadership can really destroy like the vision of a game. Because I don't know if you play this. If you play X3, the official game, and then you play X-Men Destiny, you will see like, oh, okay, yeah, this is X3 is definitely a far superior game because it had a vision, it knew what it was doing, and sure, it might not be super ambitious, but like it makes choices that really dovetail and improve the overall experience. Right. It's just it's far better. It's actually a really solid game, like a solid beat 'em up. Great weekend game.
I just skimmed through it again, and I completely forgot about the Iceman levels. How it was like flying around with the ice and stuff. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, and you're playing as like I always thought the choice of heroes was interesting. I'm like, Nightcrawler's not in X-Men 3 to begin with, and also Iceman is like barely in it. Fair enough. They have different play styles, but. I was like, this is weird, but it's good. It's good stuff. I think that's all I really have about this game, man. It
is what it is. It is.
Add it to your collection just because.
Yeah, I do agree. I do agree. Don't get the Wii version. Do not get the Wii version. If you get it, get the 360 PS3 version. But it's a solid game. I don't want to say it's a solid game. Let me rephrase that. It's a solid game to play one time and be like, I played that.
Yeah.
It's Lord of the Ring Third Age Core.
No. Lord of the Ring Third Age Core is a lot better. Production-wise, like, don't... That's
so fucked up, but it's true. Damn.
I cannot
You're
let
right.
you compare this to Third Age. Look, this is sometimes playing bad games like this make you realize how good some even mediocre games are. And just like I'm saying, like X3, the official video game or whatever, that game is a mediocre game, but it knew what it wanted to be and goes for it and is far more focused and just feels better. and playing something worse than it, you realize you're like, oh, I mean, you can't always be playing fucking
10 out of 10
S tier games,
best in the world.
Because you can't. Sometimes you have to play something bad to realize like why it's bad and really appreciate
the average games.
Back of the Rack games, average games and even really good games excel. Because then you're like, oh, okay, I know. I can feel now what would have happened if they didn't have like this decision and things like that. And but that's also a very like mature take. I feel like that's very much like I feel like you and me are students of video games in some sense.
Because I know what you mean. Because I'm like, sometimes I gotta play some shit to appreciate the gold. Same with music.
There's a lot of people.
Sometimes you gotta listen to Jack Boys too to appreciate the Clips album.
That is why I haven't listened to Jack. Is it bad?
It's Jack Boys 2 is an equivalency. Comparing it to the Clips album is kind of disrespectful. Like in terms of like Jack Boys 2 is like a Call of Duty compared to an Expedition 33. Some like Call of Duty dork being like, gaming is dead. There's no good games. And then you look at all the games that they're talking about in nostalgia, and it's just shooter. And it's like,
they don't play.
Yeah. Oh, this shooting game is fire. Oh, because it's the flavor of the month shoot. Like, it's one of those. It's like, you're not gonna be listening to this shit in like 2 months, let alone a month from now.
Right. What is Jack Boy? I don't think I've even listened to his first album, Jack Boys. What is?
Oh, that's like Travis Scott. Yeah, it's like Travis Scott and his whole label. So it's like Don Toliver, Sheck West.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't because I remember it came out and I was like, oh, this is like a collaboration album, but I wasn't sure with like who or like what was going on. And I'm not a
2 songs on that.
Scott fan.
Yeah, there's 2 songs on that album that are like pretty good. And the one song that I actually like, I would have liked better if Travis Scott dropped that as like a single to prep for his next album. Like that's the single, like one of the singles is Dumbo, I think is what it's called. Like that would have been a way better single for his own next album. It's like, it feels like the next evolution of like Travis Scott. And then there's another song by like Sofago, but like, I don't even know if I'm gonna listen to. Like, I think I just liked it because it was like everything else on the album was ass, and I was like,
yeah,
this is different.
Yeah, well, definitely add this one to your collection, X-Men Destiny. And I only say that because, again, it is a very unique game in terms of its history, development, what happened with it, and how it feels. There's a lot of mistakes in it, but it's also a game that has so much potential that as you're playing it, you can't help but feel like disappointed and underwhelmed, but also like hope that somebody will pick up the pieces and come out with a great X-Men game. Insomniac, please do justice.
Make Wolverine please.
Although after Spider-Man 2, man. It's funny because we were talking about that Spider-Man 2 video that we were talking about in Status Check. And I was like, yeah, man, I was really soft on Spider-Man 2.
It's so funny because I was thinking about replaying. It's so fucked up. I was thinking about replaying Spider-Man, and I thought, like, I would rather replay Ultimate Spider-Man. Or I actually just copped, speaking of Edge of Fate, I thought, what's the other one? Not Web of Shadows. The one where you play as like Spider Noir and like Ultimate Spider, like where it's like Spider-Verse kind of sort of. I forgot the name of it.
Yeah, isn't it Edge of Time? No?
Edge of Time is just the one where like with him and Miguel, I think, right? That's the.
Oh, is it Shadow of Time?
Spider-Man. Bro, it's still in the fucking mail. I'm waiting on that shit. But Shattered Memories? Shattered Dimensions. Shattered Dimensions. Yeah. I wanted to play that
Shattered Dimensions?
Yeah, Shattered Dimensions.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to...
Shattered Memories is a Silent Hill game.
Yeah. I wanted to play that one, and I was like, that one looks cool. Like, I would rather play that over, I feel like
2,
I feel like yeah, like I'd honestly rather replay like Infamous or Werewolf the Apocalypse, Earthblood over fucking Spider-Man 2, because it's like, what am I gonna do? Swing around, beat some people up?
Well, Spider-Man 1, I think
I would replay Spider-Man 1 over Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 1 is just like such a great experience, and Miles Morales I thought was pretty solid from what I remember. It was it's short, sweet, and it just like flows right in. You know,
I honestly think that game is a little too short, but I mean, I get it. It was an in between title.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, actually,
so well, let's. Yeah, our next game is Rumble Roses, which is a very different game from this, that's for sure. So we'll see you guys for that episode.
Titties.
And
Do we get demonetized for that? We're not even monetized. We can say whatever the fuck we want now, right?
Yeah, we're not monetized at all. I think the YouTube algorithm like doesn't even listen to the full podcast to like track for any like any like breaking of the community guidelines. It's like, this is a 2.5 hour podcast. Fuck that.
Talking about what? Dragon Quarter? They're not talking about that crazy. Fuck them.
Yeah. 30 views? No, I'm not doing it.
Who cares?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to Rumble Roses, and I'm looking forward to talking about it.
The second half is going to be just bangers nonstop, man.
Hopefully. Yeah, because
hopefully
99 Nights. I've never played Rumble Roses ever. I've never touched it.
Me neither.
So I don't even know what to really expect as far as like, is this like a fun game, you know? And 99 Nights, I played the first level, and it's pretty much Musou, but I don't know like how good it is, so we'll see.
I've only played the second level. I mean, the second 99 Nights. I've never played the first one, actually. So I don't know anything at all about the first 99. I've only played in the other games they made, Kingdom Under Fire. I've played those because they dropped like an MMO, Kingdom Under Fire 2, whatever was an MMO. So I played that, and the Circle of Doom, and the Xbox One. Holy shit, I've played a lot of their games now. I think that.
Wait. Is it in the same universe, or are you saying like it's just the
same developers? So like Kingdom Under Fire was their first one. Then I think they worked on 99 Nights, and it's kind of like a spiritual successor, a little bit of it. And then 99 Nights 2. Then they were working on Kingdom Under Fire 2, and that became an MMO. So then they made like Kingdom Under Fire. I don't know, bro. All I know is that they're like Korea or Vietnam's like first AAA developer or something like that. That's all I know. And like, this is like the technology that like at the time was like way more in advanced than Koei. So they had like 1 million people on screen or something like that. That's all I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, I do think this will be the last bad game of the season, unless
Suffering sucks, or Samurai
sucks,
Champloo.
Yeah.
I'm still betting my money on Samurai Champloo being the banned from the rack.
I don't think it'll be banned from the rack, considering we just played this. And what else did we hate again? This
Fuck.
You know, we hate.
What else?
I forgot. We hated something else, so we were just like, "This is like this is just junk."
Nah, that was
Blitz.
It.
I think Blitz was gonna be my band
Blitz.
from the rack.
Don't get it twisted. I fucking love Blitz. That was it, for real. Binary Domain was fire. Wet. I fuck with Wet.
Yeah.
John Arc.
Yeah, Blitz might.
R Racing might be banned from the rack just because of how like. But I mean, it's got swag, bro. Swag outweighs everything, bro.
Yeah, Samurai Champloo. I mean, it's one of your favorite devs working on it. So I think the worst we'll feel about Samurai Champloo is that it's repetitive.
Just like the show?
I think it's gonna have. I think it might. The show is not repetitive, Mister. I've never finished it.
I just finished it. It is very.
Oh, you finished it? When?
Yeah, I finished it last week actually. I've been slowly chiseling away. I didn't want to binge it. I wanted to let it breathe. And
Yeah, no, it's sort of a week to week thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I binged it, but yeah, it's definitely but I guess we will see. We have a couple more games. We're more than halfway through now, through the season.
Damn.
And this is the most games we've played in a year. Because we stop at 6 typically.
Right, we will be done right now. We will be like, this is the end of the
This
season.
would be the
See you niggas in 6 months.
Yeah, this would technically be like, all right, we're done for the year, but we still have a couple games. So yeah, we'll see you then. Let us know if you've played X-Men Destiny, or if you plan on picking it up. Other than that, buy it, but don't play it. Just add it to your collection, but don't play it.
Make sure you have a lot of beers next to you if you play it.
All right, guys. Peace out.
Welcome to Back of the Rack, a gaming video cast about games long neglected and not respected, games that everyone's heard of or hated, or no one's heard of and loved. We play the games in between the essentials and the unwanted, but mostly we play what we want on this podcast. Join our Discord where you can talk with us and others about Back of the Rack games, and make sure to like and comment on our videos and leave good reviews on the podcast feeds. Your feedback and engagement is the fuel that keeps us going. We hope everyone watching and listening is doing great, and we thank you for joining us today on another episode.